to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
All right, Student Body Right USC podcast. Dwayne Douglas here. Jaquavius Marks, transfer running back from Mississippi State. Let's check him out here on the All 22. We got some pass pro to start off our little journey here with number 7. Good awareness there. Gives the quarterback, Will Rogers, some time there to get rid of the ball. You get running backs got to have pass pro. He's a veteran running back, so you expect that from him. So let's check out right here. Little swing pass, and you see the acceleration that he has. Like, he gets the ball and he just puts his foot in the ground and goes right up the field. You see it here from the end zone cam here now. Just a nice little drive starter. Go get 6, 7, 8 yards to start the drive here. Put him in motion as well. He can run the ball in between the tackles and run the ball outside the tackles here. You see him go outside a little bit here, and then those runs kind of keeps him on the field. He can do a lot of different things for Mississippi State and also for USC. This one's a nice one here, a little side pitch here, but he falls down. Turf Monster got him, but you can see the acceleration. He's going to make this into a huge run there if he's able to keep his feet. Another swing pass here, and look, Alabama does a better job of defending it, but he doesn't let the first guy get him. Like, he gets positive yards. He leans forward, fights for positive yards, and also protects the football as well. A little spin move there to get some yards against the Crimson Tide. Here, this is the between the tackle stuff that I like. He can run the ball right up the gut, no problem. And you got Marks here, and this is his best run of the night. You see him hit the hole. You get a chance to see that acceleration from the end zone cam. You're gonna love that. You're gonna love that, Trojan fans. He's gone. Like, that's just foot in the ground. Make a decision. Follow your blockers and get in the secondary. All right, welcome back to the Student Body Right USC podcast. A little all 22 view for Woody Marks, Jaquavius Marks. We got to find out once the season starts which one he prefers, but the guy can play. And we saw what Marshawn Lloyd did last year. No reason why Marks can't come in and do some big things for USC in the run game here, out here on the West Coast. A lot to talk about, but I want to thank you thank you guys as well for watching the show. We are almost to that goal of we want as many subscribers as humanly possible, but I think I just want to give you an accurate total real quick. Where our goal was to get to 1,000 by Valentine's Day. I think we're getting up there. We're getting close. We're getting real close. So let's see where that number is right now on subscribers. So make sure you share the show. Right now we're at 983. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going. I appreciate y'all doing your thing and watching the show, getting friends to sign up for the show, subscribing, all those things like that. So thank you for your support of the Student Body Right USC podcast. Really appreciate it. A lot to talk about today. PORSPR is my Twitter handle, so definitely check me out on Twitter. And then let me get it right. Put on waivers _podcast. Yeah, on Instagram as well. So Julian saying, he's right down the road from me, and over at Carlsbad High School, whatever. One of the top quarterbacks, and once he decommitted from Alabama, everybody said, "Oh my God, USC." I mean, whenever it is nice that any quarterback, any quarterback at all, is linked to Lincoln Riley, right? He's linked to Lincoln Riley, so everybody wants to bring him over. But he chose to go to Ohio State. Bill O'Brien, who went from Alabama to Ohio State to be the offensive coordinator, makes sense. I mean, to me, is like, in this offseason, Ohio State was able to get their now quarterback and Will Howard, and then get their future quarterback in Julian Sang. So, like, it was the. I mean, like, if USC got him to come, then then Juju Lewis is not coming. Like, you know what I mean? So they're gonna hold out hope that Georgia isn't able to flip him and they're able to bring him in. I know people have some questions about NIL with USC, and I think USC is like I think what USC is really trying to do, and obviously the I forgot the name of the House of Victory. House of Victory is what it's called, their NIL or collective, whatever. But they're trying to figure it out, and I think that I know it's not something that we want to see as far as being patient with it. But I will say that you have to think about it like, do you if you're going to throw money right at a space in these spaces, right? Are you going to do it with the high school kids, or are you going to do it with the transfer portal kids? And I think the transfer portal kids, right, at least the way it's set up right now for SC, it kind of makes sense to do it to the transfer portal kids because we know they're more proven commodities, if you will. You kind of know what you're going to get from Woody Marks and all these other guys. Where these high school kids, you don't know, they got to grow. I mean, you want to put. Right now Oregon's putting a boatload of money in people who might not be around for their sophomore season at Oregon. So do you want to win the war now, or you want to win the war later on? Maybe some of these schools can keep these guys and and win the war now, but like you pour some money into a couple, like a bunch of high school kids, and then 3 or 4 of them end up leaving, then that's kind of wasted. That's kind of wasted cash. I think there are a select few who are like the big time players who everybody's after, who who you pretty much solidly know in the years of recruiting that boom, you're gonna have um that person there. So that would be something to look at. But for the most part, I would say for USC, this strategy of trying to do it through the portal, I think works for right now, and then down the road, we'll see if it works. We'll see if it continues. We'll see if it works in a different way for them, as they might identify some high school players in that NIL space where they can pour some money into those guys. Romello Height transfers out of USC. I thought that was a tough one for me. I like Romello a lot. I thought he had a lot of the physical attributes to play in this system. I thought he was going to be good, really good off the edge. But I totally understand what they're doing. I mean, they got the kid from Vanderbilt, so he can play all over the place. Probably a more consistent player. I mean, sometimes Romello Height, just unfortunately for him, he just got injured a lot. He got a lot of injuries at USC, but when he played and he flashed, I mean, he had some games where you're like, damn, he's coming off the edge, and then you had a guy like Alex Grinch who would see that edge talent, right? See that great edge talent, Romello Height and Muhammad, and just have him dropping coverage all the time and rush 3. That good old Alex Grinch. So now, at least you'll see them guys going after the quarterback. So and we'll get into like the position groupings and everything like that. We got a whole long off season before September 1st when they play LSU, or even the spring game that's coming up in a couple of months. But I did want to see Romello Height play in this system. I really did want to see him play in the system and see what that would look like before we kind of let him go. But I totally understand what he has to do. He's getting later in his career. He wants a chance to play in the National Football League, and he's not going to do that playing on the bench. He really isn't going to do that playing on the bench. I would say there's a lot of people who, really don't know football a lot and don't watch a lot of West Coast football, because I'm not going to sit there and tell the Chicago Bears what to do, but if there's somebody in the room who is going to say, "Hey, let's keep Justin Fields and not draft Caleb Williams," or not, it just doesn't make any sense. And then I hear people say things about Caleb Williams. He's not a leader. He quit on the team last year. Like, those narratives are just. I mean, the narratives about Caleb Williams that we're gonna see in this offseason is going to be absolutely hilarious. Yeah, as people who watch USC all the time, like we do, you're just going to sit there and just laugh because I've heard on Twitter and all these other places that all these things that you wouldn't even believe about Caleb Williams. But we know we know more. We know better who Caleb Williams is. Caleb Williams is as a person, as a player. So I'm really excited to see what he does in National Football League, and hopefully he gets all that stuff. They get all that stuff together, ready to go. I know he's working out, getting ready for the draft, getting ready for the combine, that whole process and everything like that. So it should be fun times to see another Trojan go to the pros and see how that works out. There are our Eric Henderson video. I got to do another one because there were some clips in there, I guess, that took the video down. So I did not ignore Eric Henderson being a part of Coach Henny, if you will, of USC. So I'll do another video talking about him. He's already on a recruiting trail. He's already trying to flip one of the Texas defensive line transfers. Sorry, Texas commits. One of their commits, he's trying to flip them to USC. I think that's a good way to start. I mean, he's been on the trail like from the get go. As the minute the Rams season was over and he came over to USC, he's been thugging it out, doing his thing. So, Coach Henny's doing his thing. Nathan Lynn, all those guys are doing their thing. So, we'll have to keep track and see who they bring somebody in. I know there is some concern. I'll talk about this real quick before I go about the offensive line. And I will say one thing about the offensive line that I think is kind of weird is that, like, I think last year's experience of bringing in a bunch of people kind of got them to sit back and say, hey, you know what? Let's just not let's just be careful who we bring in. Let's just not just bring in a bunch of different folks to do this, because last time we tried to do it, it didn't work. So I think they're going to be very careful on who they bring in. They're not overly concerned about it. I mean, I don't know if I want a freshman starting at center against LSU, but I gotta give I gotta give Henson and Riley their due on the offensive line. I think they know what they have at quarterback. I think they're going to be very smart as far as that goes, because this quarterback is a good quarterback, but he's not a quarterback who's going to Emil Moss, who's going to be running all over the place like Caleb Williams. And even with Caleb Williams, Caleb Williams didn't run by choice. He ran by necessity because they just had a lot of problems in the interior of that offensive line. So this year they invested a lot in the last two draft classes, classes from high school classes. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens as far as that goes. We'll keep obviously monitoring that. But new quarterback. They didn't really run the football well in the Holiday Bowl despite the win. You want to see him be able to run the football, and we'll see if the USC Trojans are able to do that as we get closer to the season. So, all right, that's pretty much it. See you next time. Student Body Right USC podcast. As always, folks, support the show. We appreciate it. Leave a comment and fight on.